Thank you to all Riley staff today and every day. You truly are our heroes.
Thank you, Riley Heroes, for keeping Indiana's kids safe.
Hey there, Riley. Thank you to every single person that is working there in the hospital and those working from home to keep things running efficiently. You are heroes.
Riley nurses and doctors, we really appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Riley staff.
We appreciate everything you are doing.
You're the real superheroes.
Hey, Mommy, Thank you, Riley Heroes. We love you. Thank you, Riley Hospital, for everything you do. We love you.
My name is Jason, and because of Riley, I can play basketball anytime I want. Plus, your donations help make this possible, so please consider giving today at rileykids.org.
I remember I was playing basketball and out here with my friend, and he was just so much more faster than me, and I just really couldn't do anything.
Our son, Charlie Smart, was diagnosed on December 2nd, 2017. I'm crying, I'm sorry. December 2nd, 2017, and our initial diagnosis was acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And the day that we left Riley for our first day, Dr. Rogg and Dr. Krupp came over and said that they've never seen this before. And so his diagnosis at that point turned into high-risk ALL T-cell with a subgroup of CML, which is chronic myeloid leukemia. And I remember Dr. Krupp says we need to get him to transplant as soon as possible. And Joe and I just look at each other like, okay. I'm thinking, what organ are we transplanting?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of stem cell bone. I didn't even know. And so, and then Dr. Krupp talked us through all of that, and it did not sink in at all that night, but then said that we all would go and get tested.
The day I found out, I was extremely excited. I was jumping up and down. I was so happy, and it was just I was just so happy because I didn't think it was going to be me, and I was told it was a 10 out of 10 match, so that made me even more happy, and I was just really proud, and I feel like it was meant to be.
Hey Charlie, I don't know if you remember, we talked about before, the cells will run in over the course of about 4 to 6 hours. Based on the math, it's going to be between 5.5 and 6 probably, but it usually doesn't always line up perfectly, so it'll be a sizable amount of time. Any questions you have for us now? Okay.
I do remember that moment that it all started, and just thinking in my head, this is day 0 and moment 0, and okay, here we go. Now we move forward, and it all started with the great team around us.
All these kids up here, what you see them endure every day, every hour, and they let you give them 20 pills a day to take that's going to make them sick so they can beat the cancer. And it just puts everything into perspective. And they're kids, and they're missing out on a section of their lives while they're battling this. And it's just really unbelievable.
Meet Harper. She was born with a rare condition called Sirenomelia, also known as mermaid syndrome. Her legs were joined from her hip to her ankles. A team of Riley surgeons and experts were able to separate her legs so she could walk. Today, because of Riley, Harper can push her toy cart by herself, stand up to give her dad a kiss, and walk along with her parents. Kids like Harper count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at rileykids.org.
It's Giving Tuesday. Don't forget to support Riley kids like me.
Hi, I'm Shay, and thanks to donors like you, I'm able to play sports and go swimming.
I love Riley because of the doctors and nurses that they have.
Hi, I'm Allie. Thanks to Riley donors like you, I'm able to do the things I enjoy, like reading and writing.
Hey, I'm Hayden. Thanks to Riley donors like you, I'm able to play games with my friends.
Give today to help support kids like me, my sister, and all children across the state. Donate at rileykids.org today.
My name is Laura Priester, and I am the program director for Grateful Families. The Grateful Families program is for families who have had a personal experience at Riley Children's Health and gives them an opportunity to give back to the hospital. Primarily, there are 3 ways that our families are involved. So that is sharing their story, donating to the hospital, or fundraising. So that could range anything from lemonade stands to sponsoring a Riley wagon, all the way up to naming a space at the hospital or creating a named fund. Oftentimes when families first reach out to us, they know that they want to do something. And so when they connect with us and realize that we have a whole team that can help and support them, it's a very meaningful experience for families. Parent myself, my son is a patient. There's quite a community of us out there. We often find each other once we're thrown into this medical world that so few of us ever expected to be in. It's oftentimes very hard to explain what it's like to have a sick child to other parents or other families who luckily haven't experienced that. And so being involved with the Grateful Families program is just a really great way to connect with other families and also allow our children to connect with other kids who have had similar experiences as well.
Meet Caden. He used to be one of the sickest babies in the Riley Hospital Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. For 6 months, Riley's nationally recognized team helped him get stronger and finally go home. Today, because of Riley, Caden gets to play in the park, jump into mom's arms, and be a kid. Kids like Caden count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today.
It began at my 20-week anatomy scan. They found a growth, a cervical teratoma was what it was called, so a large tumor on his neck. All along it was the cervical teratoma that was pushing against his airway. It was just unknown if they would be able to intubate him. So we actually had a big care conference scheduled, and then I started having contractions. We had something called an exit procedure. It was like a C-section, but they only delivered his head and his right shoulder, I think, to intubate him so that he could continue to get oxygen from the placenta. So after he was intubated, he went to the NICU. It was when he was 2 weeks old is when they did the surgery to remove his tumor.
The biggest thing is just the high level of care, along with just the number of people working together to execute a difficult plan.
He's doing great. He's feisty, he's playful, he started laughing. I don't think he would be alive without Riley. I don't think he would be here with us, so we owe them everything. We didn't plan to bring a baby home, and we feel so lucky that we were able to.
Meet Beckett. He was just 6 months old when he was diagnosed with a rare liver disorder. His health would decline, and by the age of 3, he was in need of a transplant. Beckett underwent surgery at Riley Children's Health to receive his new liver. Today, because of Riley, Beckett can play with his toy cars, ride his tricycle outside, and just be a kid. Yeah. Kids like Beckett count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at rileykids.org.
Hi, we're the Osmond family. Riley was there for me when my child battled leukemia for 8 years. Your gift supports Riley kids like mine.
Alexi is a curious and very hardworking young man. He was the swimmer of the year, I would say competitive but very focused on his goals.
He had big plans for the summer,
looking forward to school. We had just come back from the school that he was going to be attending, and we were all very excited about that. Then, he started to get sick.
So it all kind of started with a migraine, and eventually those symptoms started to persist, as well as a really high temperature that was pretty stubborn.
Tatiana was out of the country on business, and we went to the local hospital. His doctor called again and said, well, it looks like it's more complicated, so he needs to go to Riley. And that was when the alarm sort of went off.
His red blood cells were getting destroyed on a constant basis, and that made us obligated to keep giving him blood transfusion. And at that time, we were not sure, is this an infection? Is this a malignancy? This could be any of this or all of them together. It was a very rare condition, yet extremely serious and very fatal if not recognized and treated.
I remember very clearly landing in Indy, getting to the hospital, and they came back with a diagnosis of HLH.
HLH is basically where your immune system is dysregulated and you have this hyperinflammation. And then all that inflammation from your own cells is damaging your tissue and your organs.
So we had to react immediately. That included some steroids and some actually chemotherapy that target these cells and control this dysregulated immune response in the body.
I've always called him Alexander the Great. And Alexander the Great entered the biggest battle. I remember one of the times sitting back and not just thinking, why him? Why let it be me? As a parent, you wanted to take that.
I would say there's over 50 doctors that were involved in my case at some point, and almost every department at Riley.
From the very beginning, it was arms wrapped around us and included us in all of it. And I mean, there were 25 people outside of his room, and we had a voice.
It was a tough decision early on to treat him with steroids. This medicine is life-saving. To stop the HLH at the same time, there is a chance of consequences.
The steroids really were eating up at his femurs, his bones, and eventually he ended up with 2 core decompression surgeries. And at the end of that, he learns that he has to have a hip replacement surgery.
The hip replacement improved his quality of life dramatically. What happened at Riley not only, saved him physically, it opened these doors for him. He's a different person today, and he has 1 more year of school in culinary science and sustainable food systems. And he's also going to be competing in his first bodybuilding competition.
I want him to be happy and live the life that he wants to live. And we couldn't do that without all of these treatments. And if it's not near 100% survival rate for kids, then that's not good enough. And the way that we get better at that is through research.
So I encourage anyone who has a way to say thank you and pay it forward to do it with Riley, because they will make sure that that has the biggest impact on the most amount of children in our state and beyond.
My name is Alexandra Beach, and I'm the Plan Giving Director here at Riley Children's Foundation. Plan Giving is something that is put into place now, but the donation doesn't come until later. And a good example of that is writing Riley into your will or trust, or leaving Riley as a beneficiary of your retirement plan. So people can help Riley either by giving current outright gifts of cash or transferring securities. They can also help by leaving Riley in their estate. So they could leave Riley as a beneficiary of their will or trust, either as a percentage or a set amount, or a beneficiary of an existing retirement plan or life insurance policy. Many supporters want to help make a big difference in the lives of kids, but are worried that they might need the funds that they've saved, for their retirement or long-term care or anything like that. And so they're thrilled to learn that Plan Giving is something that they can do. They can put it into place now, and if they end up needing those funds, that's perfectly understandable, but if there's some funding left over, they can make a big difference in the lives of kids. And one of my favorite quotes that I think really fits with Plan Giving is that society grows great when we plant trees in whose shade we know we will never sit. And I think that really speaks to so many of our Plan Giving donors who are giving right now, even though they will never know that the children that they are benefiting. Plan Giving is very easy to do. It's not scary, and we are here to help.
Meet Haven. Haven was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, or brittle bone disease. His body has endured 56 fractures in just 11 years.
I was incredibly worried about the kind of childhood we would be able to give him. But I remember speaking to the surgeon, and he said there's something called these rotting surgeries. Yes, they're incredibly invasive, but they will change his life.
Today, because of Riley, Haven gets to compete on the swim team, play with his family, and just be a kid.
When we watch him in the pool and see him just with that pure joy on his face and that freedom, the incredible success that he's had, we know that we made the right decision. When you donate to Riley, you're donating to that freedom for these children to be able to live life to the fullest and have the childhood that they deserve.
Kids like Haven count on Riley, and Riley counts on you.
My heart belongs to Riley because they took my story of trauma and turned it into a story of resilience. Please give to Riley today at rileykids.org.
In 2019, what we thought was a sprained wrist injury actually was acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
Understandably, Mason and his family were completely shell-shocked and overwhelmed.
They definitely had to do a lot of treatments. I remember that some of the chemo that I got would give me neuropathy where I couldn't feel, or I just couldn't feel stuff in my feet.
Mason went through the first year of consolidation treatment and had begun maintenance treatment, and at a routine lumbar puncture and a bone marrow biopsy, we found out that he had relapsed. Mason transitioned to the stem cell transplant team.
Riley is the only hospital in the state of Indiana that offers pediatric stem cell transplant and immunotherapy. And he did very well, but about a year after his transplant, he again relapsed. And really at that point of therapy, there are not a lot of clinical options that were FDA approved.
Riley Children's Hospital was able to offer a study for Mason to be a part of.
He received a research-based CAR T-cell therapy product that, shockingly and amazing to all of us, got him into remission.
We know that Mason is here, and he is alive because of previous research.
Most kids in that position will not survive their cancer.
If we could be a part of that to further that research and development for pediatric cancer research, we immediately signed whatever forms we could to help him and help other children.
Research saves lives. That's the bottom line. And whether that is in leukemia therapy or other cancers, cures are not possible without innovation, and innovation is not possible without dollars to go behind it.
My son's treatment was provided through research that was paid for by generous donors.
We're so thankful to the Walther Cancer Foundation for the support that they've provided for doing some of this work. Their research dollars fuel innovation in ways that, if it weren't there, cures like the one Mason has experienced would not be possible. We wouldn't have the opportunity to see Mason not just living, but thriving.
To anyone that would consider adding to this donation, know that you are making a difference in the life of a child, their family, their community.
It's just important. There's nothing else I could say.
Meet Jamarion. He was born with a heart defect and congenital hernia, as well as sickle cell disease.
It was nothing that I can do to help him, but just be right there and support him while he was going through his pain. The doctors suggested that we needed to be transported over to Riley Hospital just so that Jamarion could get better care.
At Riley, he underwent surgeries to repair the hole in his heart and now receives comprehensive lifelong care at Riley's Sickle Cell Clinic. Today, because of Riley, Jamarion gets to play basketball with his mom, have fun with his toys, and just be a kid.
I'm very thankful for Riley because without him, I'm not even sure if my son would be living right now due to how sickly he was, having a hole in his heart. I don't even know how far he would make it. Without the support for the donors, I feel like we would still be stuck and trying to figure out how to care for Jamarion. With everything that they did for him, it just makes me very thankful.
Kids like Jamarion count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at RileyKids.org.
Hi, we are the Villafana family, and Riley helps me and my daughter whenever she's sick, whenever she falls sick as in need of medical attention. Riley has been great to us. The staff at Riley, they are very kind and nurturing. Whenever she goes there, I have a peace of mind knowing that she is comfortable and that she feels safe. Because Riley staff is always on point. Your donation to Riley helps support families like mine.
She's doing great. She had open heart surgery in August of 2020, and ever since then she's doing fantastic. When we got her Down syndrome and heart diagnosis, we started working with Riley before she was even born. At one point we sat down with 3 doctors and they put together a delivery plan that included a full NICU team in the room at birth. She's just been thriving ever since.
We want everyone to realize how amazing Riley is, and also to help keep the programs going. She's really just the light of our life, and so that's what we're really looking forward to, is kind of sharing her smile with the world and hopefully putting on a new face for Down syndrome.
It definitely was not a sure thing that we were going to end the pregnancy with a baby, and we were just so grateful.
Meet Kyle. He was born at 22 weeks and 6 days gestation, weighing just 1 pound, 1 ounce. For 3.5 months, Riley Hospital's nationally recognized NICU team cared for him until he was strong enough to go home. Today, because of Riley, Kyle gets to play baseball, run outside, and just be a kid. Kids like Kyle count on Riley, and Riley counts on you.
I love Riley because it's the best hospital I can ever go to.
Every moment has led us to this day. This is what we've been waiting for.
I love Riley because all of the doctors and nurses are nice.
We can stand on this ground so sure.
I love Riley because they help kids like me.
This is what we've been waiting for.
I love Riley because all of the doctors and nurses take amazing care of me.
We can stand on this ground so sure. This is what we've been waiting for.
I love Riley.
Back in 2018, she came to us, approached us about wanting to do a lemonade stand to help Riley.
Throughout the years I went to Riley, it inspired me to give back. So that's when I went to mom and dad, like, oh my gosh, can I do a lemonade stand?
So we've had community help by advertising for her. We've had community help by donations of lemonade and cookies.
I just really wanted to give back because it's a really amazing hospital.
When she was born at 39 weeks. She had weak eyelid muscles. They went in and took a very thin line and created eyelid muscles for her. Riley has always been there for us. They've done a lot of things for us and for Anniston, and we want to make sure that other children and other families have the reassurance and the comfort of going to Riley. What I find very rewarding is Anniston's excitement about her doing something to give back to other people. Every little bit helps, even just the littlest amount of money helps, and it goes a long way.
I'm really hoping that my lemonade stand inspires other Riley kids to be who they are and what they dream of.
This is a dream that Anniston has, and we just want to make sure we continue to give the tools to her to complete her dream.
I'm just doing this to give back to Riley.
Meet Rowan. He was born 3 months early, weighing just over 1 pound. After being diagnosed with a life-threatening intestinal disease, he was flown to Riley, where they removed 71 centimeters of his intestine. Today, because of Riley, Rowan gets to garden with Mom, run outside with Dad, and just be a kid. Kids like Rowan count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at rileykids.org.
Hi, my name is Ashay, and I was born with sickle cell type SS. Riley has always been there for me whenever I fall sick or I'm in need of care. Riley is a home away from home for me. What I mean by that is the doctors and nurses at Riley, they're caring and they make you feel safe. Your donation supports Riley kids like me.
The focus of our program at Riley is to provide comprehensive and convenient care for our families as best as we possibly can. Our families experience a lot of barriers when trying to access care.
So things have been going since I saw you last.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah?
Yes.
So Kalina came to us soon after she was diagnosed with sickle cell disease as a newborn and has been a part of our sickle cell program ever since.
I would hope that people will realize that sickle cell disease is indeed a chronic illness, and I don't think that people remember that often. I will say that I often compare sickle cell disease to that of diabetes, where it's an illness in which you know you live with forever, but you don't see it in someone. You don't look at someone and say, oh, you have diabetes. The same goes for someone that has sickle cell disease. Just because they are normal and look normal, you don't understand all of what they're going through in their life.
Kalina and her mom are a perfect example of a family that travels 3+ hours in one direction to come see us. And that's a significant burden on a family. And having support from donors to help our families access us is incredibly important. She is living with a disease that can often lead to a lot of limitations. And so being able to see kids like Kalina and others continue to forge ahead and live these rich and fulfilling lives is definitely an inspiration to our team. And I think we're grateful that we're able to help them in that journey.
Meet Owen. During an ultrasound, doctors discovered a large tumor partially blocking his airway.
We knew that he had a tough road ahead, particularly with his birth, so we didn't know how that would go, if he would survive that.
We were referred to Riley very quickly, and that's where we learned the diagnosis was the cervical teratoma, and that was the big key that was life-changing for Owen and our family.
His care team carefully planned for his birth and performed 2 life-saving surgeries at the Riley Children's Health Fetal Center, the only program of its kind in Indiana. Today, because of Riley, Owen gets to play with his sister, go on family walks, and just be a kid.
Before Riley, I was not convinced that I would be able to bring my baby boy home. I can't say enough that Riley gave us this life that we have now with my sweet family of 4.
Those donations are saving lives. It's not a small thing. It's saving kids that wouldn't have a chance otherwise.
Kids like Owen count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at RileyKids.org.
My heart belongs to Riley because they saved my life.
I love Riley because they care about each individual patient.
Without Riley, I wouldn't be able to play with my dog Oreo.
Because of Riley, I can do cheerleading.
I love Riley because they help me be like me.
My heart belongs to Riley because my doctors have helped me overcome and cope with my Tourette syndrome.
I love Riley because they saved my life.
I love Riley because all the nurses and doctors are super kind and they know what you're going through.
Because of Riley, I can play tennis and run and jump on my trampoline.
Thank you so much to Riley donors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to Riley donors.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We are so happy to have you at Red. Thank you to our donors, thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to our Riley families who are with us this evening.
Your donation really does matter. Without the money that you give, my story might not have been a success story.
It is so much fun, it is so exciting, and we look forward to seeing you next year as well.
Hi, I'm Lucy Byers.
And I'm Courtney Byers, and we're from
Carmel, Indiana.
And Lucy is, how old are you, Lou?
I'm 11 years old.
And Lucy was born with a rare genetic disorder called heterotaxy syndrome. Heterotaxy affects your internal organs. So she was born with multiple heart defects as well as malrotation of her intestines. To date, she has had 2 heart surgeries, an intestinal surgery, and then 2 years ago, she underwent surgery to get a pacemaker. None of this would be possible without Riley Hospital. We are so forever thankful for Riley. We will need Riley the rest of our life, and we know that we are in the best hands possible.
Some fundraisers that I do for Riley is I do a hot chocolate stand every year for my birthday to raise money, and this year I did some sensory kits for the heart kids in the hospital, and I also do a lunchbox drive, which it gives the lunchbox that we give to the Riley kids there, and I also designed a Riley shirt and a calendar, and this year I am the CMN champion for this whole state of Indiana.
And Luce, how are you feeling now with your pacemaker?
Awesome.
Awesome. So seriously, to give to Riley just means so much to families that are local or even throughout the whole state of Indiana. We're so lucky to have Riley Children's Hospital here in Indiana. You never know when you'll need Riley, and your money can go so far. For example, I would have loved to have had Lucy at the new maternity ward that Riley now has, and that wasn't possible when I delivered her 11 years ago. So we are just forever thankful for that. It's just mind-blowing to see Lucy playing tennis and doing her gymnastics and full of energy, and we are just all the glory and credit to Riley, and their staff members are incredible. Their child life is incredible. There's just, you walk out of there and you miss them, and you don't want to be there, of course, but when you leave, you do miss the people at Riley. So we are very thankful. So our message is donate today. Riley gives hope to others.
I saw him as the epitome of health. Couldn't find anyone healthier until he wasn't.
We came in at 5:30 in the morning to swim. He was right on pace the whole time. Best I'd ever seen him practice. And at the end of practice, he didn't have the strength to pull himself out of the water. He started convulsing, his legs started shaking.
It was like Mike Tyson just hit me in the torso. They were like, you know, it's not looking too good. we're gonna have to take you to the hospital. I remember seeing like the hospital doors open, and that's about it.
I received a call from the doctor. Said, you need to get in here right away. Your boy is very sick. As I entered the room, he was trying to pull his oxygen mask off. And he said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And his heart stopped. And eventually they came in and said if they could put him on ECMO life support, which was his only chance at survival, they could transport him to Riley Hospital where he would stand a chance. No one had ever been transported into Riley Hospital on ECMO.
He was on the maximal amount of life support a person can be on. Dr. Lutfi, his idea to get Zane on the ECMO machine so that he could get just enough blood flow to his body, to his organs to survive transporting from Evansville to Riley Hospital was really the key to all of this.
His situation was unique, and we have to establish all this new pathway for us to place someone on ECMO 3 hours away from Riley and able to transport them here.
Dr. Lutfi stood at the foot of his bed and said, oh, Mr. Zane, you might have just opened the door for many children around the state.
We were able to restore the heart function when we found the cardiac lesion by our cardiology group.
For patients like Zane, we have the best of all the teams, and they really help our patients feel comfortable in the hospital, which is important for their recovery.
With my story, I can get better research and like funding for ECMO and ECMO transport, especially with kids. That's what saved my life.
Zane's story really emphasized how important to push more and more in pediatric research. We do not have a transport ECMO program for pediatrics. I think Zane paved the way for us to talk more and more about it.
Zane, you're one of the most incredible young men I've met. I know at your age, or my age now, that there's no way I would have been able to handle what you handled, what you got through. It's pretty amazing.
It takes donors like you for them to be able to continue to provide this for other children. I would not have my son today if it weren't for Riley Hospital.
Meet Eli. As a baby, Riley doctors diagnosed him with a rare genetic syndrome. Years later, the disease formed uncomfortable growths on his body, and his liver began to fail. After months on the donor list, Eli received a life-changing liver transplant. Today, because of Riley, Eli gets to ride his bike, catch a football, and just be a kid. Kids like Eli count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at rileykids.org.
My name is Tila Hamilton. We are looking at TJ and Xander Hamilton, aka the Hamiltwins. They come up with that nickname for them at Riley NICU. So when they were born at 23 weeks and 2 days. Both of them had lung issues or chronic lung disease. Xander ultimately ended up with tracheostomy, and then TJ had brain bleeds that ultimately cleared up, but it did leave a little damage. Riley has been absolutely amazing. I think that they gave them the greatest chance of survival and having as normal of a life that they could possibly have. They have flourished since they've been home. They just continue to progress, and we give the thanks to Riley. It's mainly the license plates, and I just ordered another one. I just purchased a vehicle recently, so I purchased another Riley plate. Anytime that we see any type of fundraising, always sure to give. We definitely are grateful that we are able to give back. They're so deserving, and they do such a great job. I can't say where my girls would be, where we would be today, you know, if they weren't flown here to Riley.
Meet Brielle. She was referred to Riley after suffering with severe intestinal issues. After running several tests, Brielle was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, a rare type of cancer. Her doctor scheduled her for surgery where they were able to remove the entire mass. Today, because of Riley, Brielle gets to join the cheer squad, ride a scooter, and just be a kid. Kids like Brielle count on Riley, and Riley counts on you. Donate today at RileyKids.org.
Hi, I'm Tate, and because of Riley, I can fish with my friends and family. And I can play basketball and drain threes. And I can play baseball and hit dingers. When I was 2 months old, I was diagnosed with stage 3 of liver cancer. I had a tumor the size of a tennis ball in my liver. I had chemotherapy to make sure the tumor was smaller, and I would have surgery to remove it. After surgery, I had more chemotherapy to make sure all of the cancer was gone. I have a cool scar from my surgery. I had 3 side effects from chemotherapy. I have weak bone, nerve damage in my feet that makes me clumsy, and hearing loss that I wear hearing aids for. I love to fundraise for Riley with Extra Life. It is fun to play video games or any games to raise money for Riley. When I was 10 years old, I fundraised so that I could get a wagon for kids to use at Riley. I raised $5,000. I participate in the Purdue Dance Marathon, and they raise money for Riley. I donate and raise money for Riley any way I can. Thanks for watching.
Unimaginably, in 2019, both Samantha and Miles were diagnosed with life-threatening cancers just months apart. In August of 2019, Samantha was diagnosed with Wilms tumor, a rare form of kidney cancer. And she had a 2.5-pound tumor that had engulfed her kidney, and that had to be surgically removed in its entirety. She also underwent 20 rounds of chemotherapy. While Samantha was undergoing chemotherapy and towards the tail end of her treatment, Miles was diagnosed with Burkitt's leukemia, a rare form of cancer. Miles spent 54 straight days at Riley undergoing a very rigorous treatment plan and also had to undergo several months of chemotherapy thereafter. But thankfully, both Samantha and Miles are cancer-free today, and in fact, they're 4 years cancer-free. And that's all thanks to Riley. So when Samantha was first diagnosed, Dr. Ladd was one of the first doctors we met. And I'll remember what I said to Dr. Ladd is, do you have daughters? And he said, yes. And I said, well, you should understand what I'm going through.
Sharing that we were both parents and had both had daughters, I could totally sympathize with what they were going through.
He made both Melissa and I feel more confident about Samantha's treatment plan and that she'd be able to beat this.
I'm doing football cheerleading and competitive cheerleading. And then I'm also volunteering at a place that breeds puppies, and I just help out with them.
I've not had this experience in my 20 years of practice of having to counsel a family in such a short period of time for 2 unique cancers. The successful outcomes that Samantha and Miles have demonstrated really rely on all the information that we have garnered through the years, through research done in the world of cancers of the kidney and cancers of the blood.
Research drives everything we do here. It is the driving force for new therapies and cures for cancers that we aren't always successful in curing.
The nurses played a pivotal role, not just with Miles and Samantha, but with all the children that they treat. In particular, Carol was the primary nurse for Miles when he was at Riley. She was also there to see him go through this rigorous process of chemotherapy that really just ravaged his body and caused him to be unable to walk. But she was there to see him build up his strength and start walking again.
So, very difficult situation. I feel like no kid should have to deal with what Miles and Samantha both did. Research is so important, especially funding, and there's not a lot, for pediatric cancer.
And the fact is, pediatric cancers are all orphan So the benefit of money given to research is it does drive everything we do.
Hi, Gail. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Mitch. I'm doing some walking.
Where are you going?
Over here.
It's awesome, and we're just so grateful that he's able to do things like this. And that's grateful is kind of our word of the year. This is an amazing game.
I saw him running down the whole entire field. And he scored a touchdown.
My whole team was blocking, and that made me to run as fast as I could for a touchdown.
We are in this position because of the folks at Riley. They made this happen so we could see Miles play football, Samantha at her cheer competitions and cheer games. We get to experience birthdays, first days of school. Again, we're just so lucky to be able to do these things and see these things that our kids are doing today. Well, this is our third year doing the golf outing, and there are so many people who have returned to this event, and it is incredibly meaningful to our family.
Yeah, we are so thankful for everyone that is here today. There's some of you who are here for the first year and some of you who've been here all 3 years, and we're so thankful for everyone that's here and is contributing to, our contribution to research and to programs at Riley.
Melissa, Samantha, and Miles and I are so grateful for your support and being here and sharing in our vision to help children and to beat pediatric cancer. We can't thank you enough for your support and generosity.
Thank you for coming to the For the Kids golf outing. We appreciate the support and generosity for Riley. See you on the course.
Meet Kennedy. She was born with a severe heart defect and admitted to the neonatal intensive care unit at Riley Hospital for Children. Throughout her young life, doctors at Riley have performed 3 surgeries. Today, because of Riley, Kennedy gets to play with her sister, learn to dance, and just be a kid. Kids like Kennedy count on Riley, and Riley counts on you.
Thank you for supporting Camp Riley. Because of support like yours, kids like me get a chance to have fun at various camps throughout the summer. Thank you so much for making that possible.
I can absolutely say that hope happens here. I owe every smile that I get from that little girl and every giggle and every curly hair on her head. I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the excellent care that she got here from her surgeons and her cardiology team and the nurses and everybody else here at Riley who's taken so much care of her and has helped us.
The staff here is just amazing. The care that they give is amazing. You honestly can tell that they genuinely care and love what they do here. You don't get that everywhere. So being able to know that people are truly doing it from their heart is a great reason to give back to Riley. I couldn't even put in words how thankful I am for them, because if it wasn't for them, Kaden wouldn't be here.
What I would say to the donors that have made the Fetal Medicine Center possible is thank you. I was given the resources that I needed. I was given confidence. I was given professionals that knew what they were talking about. I felt like I had the best people on my side in a moment where I needed the best people on my side. And I really feel like Jameson is here today and has a really good shot at a wonderful, fulfilling life because of the group of people that have helped care for him.
Riley is hope, plain and simple. It's a place that you dread to come, but when you get here, you think, this is it. This is what I was looking for. This is my hope.
The Riley experience has been amazing. Everybody really works together to make it about your child. They're seeing, thousands and thousands of other children for whatever reason, but right now it's your child and what your child's going through. It's not just about your child too, they want to make sure that as their caregiver, you're okay and that you understand what's going on, and they really want to make everybody comfortable and to be able to walk away comfortable.
If I could say anything to the doctors and nurses and all the support staff that was there along the way when Bo was getting his treatments in and out of the hospital, it's just, we can't thank you enough. We don't have enough gratitude to express our thanks to the care and the love and the attention that you gave to Bo.
I can't say enough about Riley because you can't put an amount on saving your child's life. If you were a donor sitting in front of me, I don't think I would say anything. I'd just give you a great big hug because it means the world.